here for the third time. You already know what this is. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome into Empty the Clip, the no bullshit revenue podcast for people who actually like making money. I'm your host, JJ Russell. Joining me as always, somebody who's actually sold something this decade. He's not a has-been. He's not a wannabe. He's a gonna be. I don't know. He is Joey Gilkey. What's up, dog?
I'll take it like a half compliment and like a half not.
It just came out. It flowed.
It's good, man. It flowed well. Yep, it flowed well, and I ruined it. Sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, there really is something to it, though, right? So you and I are on the internets. We
have been on the internet
we see
before.
We've been there once or twice. You happen to have a little bit of a prominent persona on LinkedIn, which we've talked about here before. Yeah, you're growing your brand. But because of that, you're also really struggling to get that jacket off. Is it because you're
it's a struggle, man? I'm at the office today. I got stuck at HQ. Couldn't make it home in time for the podcast because we don't have the studio set up yet.
Your headset sounds phenomenal, though. I mean, it might even be podcast quality. What are you dialing on these days?
This is the Discovery Boomstick Bluetooth version. I have both the plug-in version and the Boomstick. Actually, it was funny. One of my assistants, I've had the plug-in one, and he liked it. And I put this one, he goes, "Damn, you sound good."
Dude, you are literally the perfect spokesperson for a microphone called the Boomstick. And Discovery, is that the brand? Hashtag not a sponsor.
I think it's the offshoot brand of Headset Advisors. So we use headsetadvisors.com for all of our headsets for SDRs.
Okay, well, if they have half a brand, whoever that brand is, they need to sign you a check and just let you say crazy stuff about the Boomstick. Because
we should clip this and send it to them right now.
I'm gonna send it to them. It's gonna happen. All right. Well, like I said, if you have joined us for the last two episodes, this is episode 3. You know how it goes. We're not trying to sit around and do all the banter and have all the fun and do all the fluff. We like to do those things, but we want to jump in, give you value, segment to segment. You see the ticker over on the side, and we are going to roll through some high-value conversations today. The topic of this episode, Joey, the macro topic, I was told by our marketing guy that we needed to have thematic episodes, okay? So,
yay for CMOs.
Yes, thank you, CMO. Also, whoever edited show 1.
Yeah,
not be great. Do better. Do better, guys.
Do better.
All right. So the topic for today, the easy sales that you're just skipping over.
Oh, yeah. Sales is such a layup, brother.
The ones you're just gallivanting through the field and you skip over it and you look down and you're like, that's a $10 bill on the ground. I don't want to pick it up because I'm a snotty-nosed bitch and I'm just going to leave it there on the ground. So if you're listening to this, you're likely a revenue leader, sales leader, CEO of a 7 or 8 figure, maybe 9 figure. That'd be pretty sweet. Company. Multi-billion dollar. Yes. And we've all got our idea of what sales should look like, what channels are worth pursuing. Most of us, it's like the easy stuff. It's the inbound or you need to go build an outbound motion and you've got your traditional views of what that looks like. And we've talked a lot about what in episode 1 and 2 about what building a winning outbound sales motion should look like in 2024. Today, I want to talk about the other stuff, right? So this is a no bullshit revenue podcast. And there's a lot of other ways to make revenue. So I just want to jump in at a topic that I know you are passionate about. It applies to all of them. Our team...
Time out real quick. I was told the word passion.
Yes.
Truest definition is to suffer for.
You have suffered for this.
I have suffered for this. But I liked it. I know we're going on a side tangent. You got an agenda. You got to follow.
No, we're good.
And I'm just here for your agenda. But passion... to suffer means when someone is truly passionate about something are they willing to suffer for it? That's the truest definition. It's cool. It helps you reframe. Like, am I really passionate about this? Like, am I willing to suffer for this? Who brought that up? Kevin Dorsey. KD flew into town to come check out Apex's headquarters and chop it up a little bit. Got things cooking. But
so gay.
Yeah, whatever, brother. what is gay nowadays? Anyways, it's got so many definitions. Anyways, KD was in town. I think he actually said passion is has to do with suffering, and so I think that, and it was in the thread of my some of the content that I put on LinkedIn where I maybe go a little bit too political. No. And it's actually pretty convicting because he was like, he stays out of things political. We share a lot of very similar views. Surprisingly, in tech world, I found someone. Dude, he and I are cut from like the same cloth, except he's black and I'm white and less cool. But anyway, so he's talking about like he stays out of certain topics because at the end of the day, I'm not passionate about it. I'm not willing to suffer. And so if you find it okay to comment on something, then maybe you're willing to suffer the consequences of it. And so he was referencing some of my posts where I mentioned, we tend to only hire conservative people as opposed to maybe like more far left leaning ideology type people for a couple of reasons. But what he's basically saying is like, is that something you're willing to suffer over? Because you will suffer. You'll lose accounts, you'll lose clients, prospects, good talent, so on. And he talked more about like publicly talk about things you're private, or publicly talk about things that you're not willing to, or that you're willing to suffer over, and then in private bring out some of those things that you're really willing to suffer over. It was a really good point because I think it helped me frame a little bit of my content for the future of, it's not, some of the stuff I put out isn't necessary.
Well, it's actually a really good redirect too, right? So I'm going to take this. It's good.
Right.
So
CMO.
what is this, the sales you're skipping over, right? Sure. But that applies to all channels, all areas, all strategies. Right. And it is follow-up, right? It's the fat stacks that are in the circle backs, baby. And chasing that, I'll let you talk about it here in a second. Chasing real follow-up, like actively engaging regularly in follow-up, is, if you're passionate about it, you are going to suffer because it is a laborious process. But talk about, how do you shore up the cracks? How do you run follow-up in a way? A lot of our model is built around this. How do you run it in such a way that you are juicing every potential lead, prospect, account for that next sale that's just around the corner?
Well, I think before you even get tactical about how I would answer this, I would think you got to talk first about the conviction you have to have behind it first, right? Because I can give you the strategy, the tactic on how to do follow-up and why you should do follow-up. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a conviction for why follow-up is important to your success, your organization's success, your team's success, whatever it might be, then the tactics are going to go right over your head. The strategies go right over your head. And so you have to believe that at the end of the day, the best sales come through follow-up, right? Like if I just went on a date with my now wife and I just kind of like let it just coast, as opposed to like flying her to St. Louis when I was there and doing all the things that I did, like the follow-up game is what got me married to the person I wanted to marry, right? And so I think you have to develop a conviction. And so if you don't have a conviction for follow-up, if you don't have a true DNA of follow-up in the organization, you need to start fucking fast there.
Can I add one point there too?
Yeah,
because Ryan's great about this. Ryan Reiser on our team.
Yeah.
He talks about, like, if these accounts that you're going after, if your list, the list is the strategy, right? Like if your list is not so curated that every account that you would talk to, every contact you could talk to is somebody that, if you get them on the phone, right? If you just get a conversation with this person, you are ecstatic, right? You're going home, you're telling your wife, you're high-fiving your friends because you got an in at this company that you so badly want to sell into. Like if you don't care about these accounts that much, that's a big piece of it too. Like you're going after the wrong people. So I think if you've got ideal targets and a conviction, that's a match that's going to lead to a lot of success.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. But to your point, like strategy and tactics, I think everything comes down to, people always think about like technology and systems. It's like process is king. At the end of the day, if you don't have the system can be fairly agnostic if you can build the process into the system. And so Ryan's got his bucketing, I've got my stacks. I'm conceding he's got a book on it, so like, why am I gonna try to usurp his approach? But I think having an approach, shameless plug for Ryan's book, Outbound Sales No Fluff. Having a process that you can follow that ensures that nobody falls through the cracks. So what that essentially has to mean is every prospect, every deal, every opportunity needs to fall into one of 4 or 5 buckets, right? In his case, I'm trying to like alter my language to his because we slightly differ on ours. We both developed our own approach through the recruiting world, which we both came from, which is funny. We probably got it from the same place. He just altered it to his, and I altered it to mine.
Yeah.
we came to find out. I've never even read his book, by the way. Sorry, whoops. And I just plugged it. But I think having a process where every prospect deal opportunity has a label, right, or a bucket that it falls into. It depends on what stage it's in, right? So on contact, researching, basically not actioned yet, goes into bucket 1, right? So you know that everyone that is in this bucket, no matter what, has not been properly followed up with, actioned, whatever. Bucket 2 are people that you are currently actioning that you need to continue actioning, but there's no leads bubbling to the surface just yet. After that, you have another bucket for our highest priority leads. This is what we're talking about. Like when you start getting opportunities, conversations going, follow-up comes from those conversations. Okay, what did I talk about with JJ on this cold call? And he's a prospect that I want to break into, or it's an opportunity that's on the board. Having this bucket of like, these are the priority bucket that I have to work. Bucket 4 and beyond is more like people who are on the calendar. Next steps are set. We're working the deal. Then you've got your no-show bucket and so on, right? So the reason that's important is because your calendar should reflect those labels, those buckets. And so I should have on my calendar bucket 2 time, bucket 3 time, bucket 4 time. And as a best practice, what I've always taught is that everyone from bucket 3 and beyond should always have the next thing already assigned to them.
Yep.
And so when I finish my follow-up activity, I don't just move on to the next one. I quickly, and this is where systems can, the technology, you can have like a call disposition button that automatically sets the next activity or so on. You need to have a system where everyone always has the next step attached to them. And so therefore, when it is time for that task to bubble to the surface, let's say your disposition is, had a great conversation, he said, send me information. I click that button, it sends the email with information, also sets a task for me to call them in 2 days. Well, in 2 days, that's going to bubble up to the top of my list, and I can action that list today, right? Especially when I log in for my stack 3 times, or my bucket 3 times. And so I think that is the process that you need to follow, right? It's the only process you need to follow, is always make sure there's a next step attached to every person, no matter what, until they say, go fuck yourself. No, this is over. Even then, maybe set one for 3 months, or they say yes. And that's, if you do that, 2 things are going to happen. 1, you're going to have a lot more revenue. 2, you're going to have a lot more accountability. You should have data. If you have the right process in place, you should have the data to know when people aren't following up on your team.
Yep. I'm going to give you 2 anecdotes just to back this up, because this is a process that I'm running internally right now. It's going really well. I really enjoy it.
Yep.
We'll have people that say they want to book a meeting, right? That's a different outcome, different disposition, right? They want to jump into a call. Great. We go to put them on the calendar. They no show, right? Mm-hmm. Oh no. What are we going to do, Joey? They didn't show up. Well, we should probably just send them an email and never talk to them again. Right? Like, we have a client recently that I will shit on for a second, who had a salesperson who was getting activated leads from us, and if they know, or booked meetings, and if there were a few that no showed, and they just moved that person into a closed, lost bucket, never to be touched again. Yep. And so that's the opposite of what you want to do. What I've been doing, right, is, hey, I'm going to hit this person back on the phone, and then I'm going to hit him back 2 days from now, and then I'm going to hit him back 2 days from now. And maybe I send him an email in there. And then I found his VP of sales, and I called that guy, and his name was Carter. And I caught Carter in the car driving his kids to dinner while I was in the car with my kids, driving my kids to dinner, and we booked an appointment. Go
That's how it
figure.
works, brother. That's how it works. Yeah, it's wild how, like, I don't know, people just get busy and you just assume like deal's dead, move on to the next one. I think this is another. Some orgs wish they had this problem. Some orgs do have this problem. It's a problem whether you don't or you do, right? So it's a two-edged problem. And that is that some people have lead disease, right? They just know the next opportunity is going to come down the pike. This is why most account executives don't hit quota, is because they have lead disease where they know that the SDR is going to just plot the next one. And they assume that that lead stream is going to eventually get them to their on-target earnings. And it very well could, which is a lazy organization. It's set up for failure long-term because your cost per acquisition is going to go straight out the roof compared to where it could be if you had a proper follow-up system.
All right. So we've been talking about the buckets that are pre-deal or pre-discovery call, pre-qualifying call, whatever, right? These are all the outreach buckets for the most part. Yeah. We've got a whole nother set of people that have made it into the pipeline. They've been through a disco process. They've been maybe into a proposal process. They are if you manage any kind of CRM, if you're a revenue leader, this is, as you're looking at your Kanban view or however you have it set up, this is the badass stack of people that has just never moved. And it says last action was 4 months ago. And for whatever reason, they're still in your pipeline, right? And maybe it's well managed. Maybe you've done something else with them. But regardless, there is a group of people that said they wanted to buy from you. They got into legitimate sales conversations, maybe even proposal calls with you, and then they ghosted you. They went dark. You tried to resurface it. They never came back. These are deals that you can revive, but it's great to have a process around them. So let's now turn the corner into the pipeline, we call it right of deal. This is not just prospecting. This is pipeline. Let's talk about reviving deals that were at one point active in the pipeline.
Yeah, so dead deals. How do we revive those? Well, for one, if you have a follow-up system, no deal is ever dead, right? You should continue to follow up into eternity. So I think the first thing is have the system, have the process. But secondarily, like there should also, just as much as we should be following up before, like left of deal, or early in the pipeline, we should have aggressive follow-up in the second half of the pipeline. You should have pipeline reviews. And so a truly good sales leader or a founder or whomever is over top of the sales org needs to be doing weekly deal reviews, if not multiple times a week, where it's, hey, rep, let's walk through each of your deals. This deal has not moved. What is your next step? Put it into the bucket. What bucket does it need to be in? Okay. And so I think that is more of a leadership problem. It's a rep problem, but it's also a leadership problem. Is there should be a mechanism in place where we're looking at deals specifically on a regular basis so that 4 months down the road, you don't look at it and be like, oh yeah, last contact, it was April. Whoops. Like it's real dead at that point, but it wouldn't be real dead if you had a follow-up sequence in place where you were actually following up on them on a regular basis. And change up your follow-up, right? Like they might have died for one reason or the other. If they didn't tell you, well, then your next job is to find out why the deal died. Why did they go with a different solution, right? They either went with someone else, they either did it in-house, or they did nothing. Literally the only three options, or they got let go of or whatever.
Or they died.
Yes, if they died.
We had that happen. We had that happen one time.
And you're laughing about it, you sick fuck.
I got to recover. Woo. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, but right. I think that having pipeline review, making sure that never happens again. Like there should be safeguards in place for accountability, leadership, training, management for all levels. And so if that's not there, start there.
Awesome. If you don't know how to build that and you want to learn how to build that, or you want somebody to build it for you, shameless plug, check us out at Apex Revenue. Got a really cool offer for you. Check it out.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Awesome. This is a little bit more technical, maybe a little bit less fun, but and it'll be different for everybody depending on what you sell and who you sell to. But I think a lot of people listening to this are probably missing out on cross-selling, upselling opportunities. Like they just don't have a process in place. They've not really ever thought about it. Or if they've thought about it, they don't know what to do. Where would you start for somebody who's like, man, I don't have a playbook or a process for managing cross-sells, upsells?
Yep. This is funny. This episode should be, or this theme, CMO, is processes touches everything and everyone, everywhere. No, I'm kidding. Non-sexually, depending on what line of work you're in. I don't know. There's certain industries where it can be sexual. But nonetheless, it's process, right? It comes down to extreme. So if there's left of deal, right, or left of activation, left of completion, whatever you want to call it, prior to it hitting pipeline and being like a sales qualified, working it through an opportunity and a deal, then there's right of, right? That is everything from opportunity on the table through contract won and closed. There is post, right? There's post contract won, right? And there should be process there for account management, whomever the account management might be, where it is their duty to manage to the expectations of what you have already sold them. But two, if you're doing proper account management and you're actually there to help the client, you should be able to have the data that finds the other gaps in the organization that your other solutions can plug into. And if you have a good enough and a tight enough process and you're close enough to the client and they trust you, that's a really easy conversation to bring up. Hey, in our case, Apex Revenue, right? We might sell someone into phone ready leads, right? Where they get access to this premium scored data, 30% connect rates. It's amazing. SDRs should love this because they're having conversations every 3 calls instead of every 33 calls. The upsell to that could be, okay, we get in there, they're using the reps, they're consuming the data, let's just say their conversions on the calls, because they're having so many of them, are not great. Well, that is a place to step in and offer sales training or sales management to some degree and offer there. If you find out that they're not following up, they're not doing the things, then that definitely means that there needs to be an offer pushed for, hey, something's not going on well with the leadership management side of things. Let's install our leadership management type of offer. If you are close enough to the problem and you are listening and you are watching and you are account managing the way account management is meant to be done, then that is an organic conversation. That is not a combative conversation. It's not one that you should shy away from. I think far too many people get into this, well, I sold them and I don't want to rock the boat. It's like, well, buddy, they hired you to solve a big problem and now you're identifying the next big problem, right? We are in the game of solving problems sequentially. We may not solve them all today. It probably doesn't make sense and no one's going to necessarily throw all the money at you for all the solutions you have. But eventually your goal should be to go get more and more wallet share, not because you're greedy, not because you just want to have higher LTV. That's obviously byproducts, but because you truly want to solve more and more problems for that organization. You are the best fit for that. And this also goes another way. Complete straight profit margin, no delivery required, is find problems your company doesn't solve and go find solution providers and say, hey, I noticed your tech stack is broken. I've got devs here and here that can really help tighten this process up and get you the data you need. You want me to make an introduction? That is valuable to the client. It gets them used to you upselling or cross-selling them, even though you didn't cross-sell them into your org. You cross-sell them into some other solution, have a referral agreement, get straight profit back in a referral agreement, and you've maintained the relationship, made more money, helped the client further, and you've continued this process of upsell and cross-sell in an organic way because you're trying to be helpful.
So let me dig into that too, right? So you can do this spontaneously. You could do it through like a QBR system where you're doing quarterly reviews, semi-annual reviews, whatever. I've heard you at one point talk about the idea of a paid mid-engagement foot in the door type offer, right? So we, for the longest time, had a roadmap. It's kind of what our R&D process is now, where you get in, you find a message market fit, we define your target, we define your message, we figure out what the results are, right? If you're selling any kind of marketing services, you could sell some kind of upfront strategy or audit type offer. But what about offering that to current clients and leveraging it as an opportunity to find new revenue streams?
Yeah, it's
still an advocate.
What you should do. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think if anything, it should be baked into the process. So like, hey, in our case, messaging is not as tight as it used to be, right? Because human buying behavior changes for your buyers or whatever. it would make sense to run it back on an outbound R&D where it's heavy intensive message, right? That's an easy one. And so we run back R&D, find more opportunities to upsell them because we now have identified new problems potentially, or further solidify why we're there in the first place. But then simultaneously, you can have a different type of foot in the door of, hey, let us do in our case, a dialer system review. Let us run your numbers through a cleaning service. Like that's a micro diagnostic, if you will. Hey, your dialer system is broken. Hey, we have Apex Dialer, which has auto number rotation, auto number cleaning. You want to move over to that where you're going to have extreme call deliverability, X, Y, and Z, right? And so introducing these little micro or even macro audits, diagnostics, blueprints, roadmaps, whatever you want to call it, to inject into your current process. I think we think of foot in the door offers as this is just how we secure the bag in the account, whereas no, it's actually a way to continue to secure the bag, but then secure the next one with that account.
Yeah. No, that's great. This deviates a little bit from the sales conversation, but in the to be honest about being a revenue podcast, right? Like to be inside of our integrity, we've got to talk about more than just net new sales, which we're doing here, right? We're talking about upsell, cross-sell, but retaining revenue, right? That you've already got in hand. I think it's not strictly sales that you're skipping over to go chase what seems easy or what seems alluring.
Yeah.
But this is the revenue that's already in your pocket. It's the easiest to retain, right? It's way cheaper to retain a client than to go find a new one. You could just say, hey, this is not my side of the house, right? Because you're predominantly sales lead gen guy. But is there anything that you would offer, whether it's sales dovetailing with client retention or process that you would coach and encourage people to do on the back of house retention side?
Yeah, well, like I did at the beginning, like set the stage. So, and some sellers, some revenue leaders, some sales leaders don't have a full P&L that they have to operate off of, right? That's for finance, or that's for the COO, or that's the CEO to see. P&L is the profit and loss, and so it is far more advantageous for your company to be more profitable. Well, the most profitable thing you can do is, one, not lose clients that you have already paid to acquire. Because when you lose them, not only did you pay to acquire that client, but now you have to pay to acquire the client to replace them, and then pay to acquire the client on top of that to grow, right? Secondarily, this is how you compound you drop your cost per acquisition, because if it costs me $1 to acquire a $10 client, every time I can just keep spending $1 to acquire $10. Great scalable model, good return on investment. But what's a better return on investment is if that $1 got me $10 this year, $10 the next year, $10 the next year, my cost per acquisition for that account was $1 to acquire $30. That's a 30x return instead of 10. And so retaining clients is one of the greatest profit drivers. And I think this is something that we have struggled with, really, really focusing on retention, right? Because sometimes results don't just speak for themselves. Sometimes you have to speak for your own results. And so part of it is...
That was good.
Thank you. Clip it. So I think that's the big piece is oftentimes, especially in service companies, but I think tech and everything else in between, is we have to continuously know how to winsomely communicate our value, right? Because just like anything, let's take marriage, right? Like if you and your wife do the same thing every year in and year out, the value of that relationship tends to actually go down, right? Perceived value, right? Because we become numb to the results, we become numb to the scenario. And so we have to reinvigorate why we're there, our value. This is where you were, this is where you are, this is where you're going. And so this is the art of account management, is we have to do a better job of communicating value. We talk about value-based selling. Well, value-based selling doesn't just stop when you close your first deal. Value-based selling happens into eternity. So 1 is communicate value. 2, have actual tactically sound strategic retention tools, giftology, communicate with the client above and beyond scope. Like I think it's important that everyone who in account management has the cell phone number of everyone they manage. Every account they manage should have on speed dial, should be texting, should be calling, should get to know their families, like what's important to the person that's my point of contact. You don't do that, you're missing a huge opportunity, and they're going to give you the number. So like,
Yeah.
do it, use
Well,
it.
and it's interesting because I'm managing accounts right now, and so I've got people that I'm more distant from.
Mm-hmm.
Then I've got a few clients that I talk to on a regular basis. I do have their cell phone numbers.
Which clients do you think you have the most likelihood of securing revenue long term?
The ones that I've got relationships
100%.
with. Yep.
Very easy.
Where should, and I know that this differs per organization and structure and different things, but where should sales teams fall off and just completely cut the cord, pass it to account management versus pulling a salesperson back in to shop new solutions, sell new solutions, run the giftology strategies? Or is that all account management side of the house?
That's so hard. If I'm building a scalable organization, sales falls off, right? If I'm building a scalable organization and I really care about upselling and the relationship was really strong with the salesperson, because it's a really, really, really long sales process that develops trust over time, you got to build a process to seed that salesperson into that relationship still. Check in. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how you enjoying Sally, the account manager? How's the family doing? Great. Anything I can do for you? Boom. It also is valuable for the salesperson to keep that relationship going because of referrals in the future, right? Talk about low cost per acquisition. Referrals are the greatest cost per acquisition, channel out there. It's why a lot of these organizations have channel, I'm on calls nowadays. I got 10 this week this week and next week with enterprise accounts, and channel is in some cases 70, 80, 90% of their revenue.
Yeah.
Right. Referrals or organizations that are selling their product for them. Same thing kind of.
Because you already touched on it, let's jump to it. I had it later on in our conversation. Let's talk about referral strategies.
Yep.
My guess would be there's a process, right?
Yeah, I mean, process or tactics,
yeah. And I've heard you talk about it on different time horizons. And I don't know,
Yeah.
This has been a while, but I'd be interested to see if you could just pull this out of thin air.
Short term, midterm, long term?
Yes, that one.
I've got some tactical ones. I've not pulled them out in a while, and it's unfortunate because I'm going to talk about it now, cobbler's kid, but because we're not doing it as well. But I think that there's a great short-term tactic I think that anyone could implement tomorrow, right? And it's let's go back. So Gartner put out this hype cycle study, right?
Yep.
Right. It's this. There's like your highest, greatest, most excitement. Expectations are the highest. That's the highest of the hype cycle, right? Super pumped, right? Over expectations. Then you've got your doldrums, right? It's the trough of disillusionment. It's the very bottom.
We don't want that.
Where they hit, but it happens, right? And so it's like where your super heightened emotions hit reality, right? You see it with sales reps, where they come in like, I'm gonna fucking hit quota. I'm gonna hit President's Club. I'm gonna make OTE 500 grand this year. And then it's like, yeah, but like, you got to do follow up, and like, you're going to get rejected all day long. And the trough of disillusionment comes on you where it's like, oh, this is hard. And I don't know if I'm going to get there, and all these types of things. And then you have your plateau of production where you kind of get back to like the baseline. Where it's like, all right, now we're just doing the work. And this is the plateau we take all the way through productivity to our goal. Okay.
Wait for it. I was going to throw it up there.
Are you showing it?
I'm trying my best, guys. This is technical expertise here that I don't know if I have.
On display at its finest.
Did it come up? Can you see
it?
Okay.
Not yet.
We'll see if all post-production can put it in there for
throw
us.
a Gartner's hype cycle.
All right.
It showed up like literally
I know.
Split second before you exited. It's all good. But so when are they the most excited? Is at the very beginning, right? They just secured the deal. You've done all the things to prove the value-based pricing or the utility-based pricing, however your pricing model works. They said yes, contract signed, we're kicking off. Most excited they're going to be for a while, right? Unless you get a big, big, big win. Leverage that, but don't abuse that. So the way that I've explained it before is what you should do is on kickoff, this is post contract one, post payment, excitement at the highest. We're talking about the scope of work. This is what you paid for. Here's how I'm going to do it. In that time, set a referral meeting for the future. So, hey, listen. So here's what I would do. I'd say, hey, JJ, pumped. Here's what we're going to do. Blah, blah, blah. Are you a betting man by any chance? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah, throw a little wager in there. Makes the game a little bit more fun. Let's throw a little game, right? Let's throw a little bet out there. So you're going to get what you paid for, but let's talk about getting more than you paid for. Let's set a goal, maybe a slightly, not unrealistic, but let's set a pretty audacious goal for 6 months from now, 3 months from now, whatever your timeline is. If you wave the magic wand, you already know what you're getting paid for. So if we do that, great. You got what you paid for. What's a goal right above that? That if we hit that, you'd be pumped. And they give you some answer. It's like, cool. I think that's feasible, right? That's something to shoot for. What if we did this? What if we put a meeting on the calendar 6 months from now, 3 months from now, that's literally called "We Did It," right? And in that meeting, we're
It's
gonna
kind of gay too, Joey.
dude, just let me riff, bro.
The "We Did It" meeting. Golly.
I don't even call it that. I just couldn't think of what I'd usually call it. Fuck off.
Okay, perfect.
I'm trying to provide value here.
Yeah, keep going. You're doing great.
Set a meeting, and in that meeting, say, hey, here's the expectation. If I hold up this end of the wager, I'm asking one thing from you. Come to that meeting with 3 to 5 people that you think could use this. If you can't think of anyone, do I have your permission to bring you a list of 30 or 40 accounts that you might know, whether it's through sifting through LinkedIn or whatever, that you could potentially make an intro to? Do we have a deal? Here's the deal. If I don't hit that, I'll delete the meeting. No worries. You're still going to get what you paid for. We just didn't hit the above and beyond goal for whatever reason. That sound fair? Boom. Say, cool. 6 months from today, put on the calendar. I'm going to send it to you right now. Let me know you got it. That's what I want you to be thinking through. I'm going to put a calendar invite there. I'm going to put another calendar invite for a week before that because we hit the goal, and I want you to be thinking through it before our meeting. Fair? Right? That's a way to kind of gamify referrals there.
Dude, I totally had an opportunity to do this twice now recently, and I should have.
You still can.
We sat down, and one of these clients that I'm really connected to, we're doing great work for them. He said, I want to get some hard and fast targets in the calendar for January, February, March. What should we be expecting each month? Right? There's somebody that we don't manage we're not running full fractional outbound or VP of sales stuff for them. We're just running their outbound. And so we built out some basic metrics, and we actually set stretch goals too, right? So here's what we would be excited about. Here's what we'd be ecstatic about. And I totally should have gamified it. Damn it.
Would have been so easy. You still could. We're not even in January, February, or March yet. So, hey, I was thinking about it. And then go into it. That's short term. Midterm is what is it you can do to surprise and delight them in the midterm? Midterm being 6, 12 months. And then, so that's doesn't necessarily have to be this type of strategy we've talked about, but that's more or less, can I jump in and find to our upsell and cross-sell opportunity, like make an intro to someone that can solve a different problem, right? Offer to do something free. Throw on a little add-on like, hey, we're running this test over here. I'll comp it. I just want to see how it works with your account. No charge to you guys, right? So do something above and beyond scope that can really create some affinity. Long-term strategy is pretty simple. 1, deliver hella results. Great, that's an easy one. But then 2, it's build. Nothing creates referrals like relationships, and so build into the relationship. Who is their family? What does this guy's wife care about, right? Because if you get kudos with the wife of a prospect and you look good, like, oh, this is someone who we work with. I told him about you, like, and you can literally just go to him. Hey, John, actually, I got a custom knife set I just sent to Sally. I want you to take full credit for it, right? Say, hey, I told these guys that you would love this, whatever, right? Prop up the relationship and actually create like a gifting strategy, handwritten notes, like do the shit that AI can't get rid of, right? Like, like you can't get rid of relationships, right?
Well, it's stuff that doesn't scale. It doesn't scale, right? That's the stuff that
doesn't scale. So do the stuff that doesn't scale, do it over a long period of time, have a process for it. Once a quarter, think through it, twice a year. Don't give gifts around Christmas because everyone gives gifts around Christmas. Give a gift in the middle of fucking September, right? Find out when their birthday is and give them a 6-month, like half birthday gift, right? It's random, but it's something that's thoughtful. That shit goes a long way in the relationship, and it makes asking for referrals over the long haul really important.
I was just thinking about this component of it too. So like we used to, back in the day, only sell to digital marketing agencies. Well, we started
Yeah,
a digital marketing agency mastermind that
that's
just
right.
happened to have a dozen of our clients in it, as well as some other guys. And man, talk about a window to get to know somebody and build a relationship that's bigger than just the business. We had guys that
Oh
would
yeah,
be decent clients who became great long-term Apex clients, and a lot of that hinged on the fact that we built a really solid relationship with them. And we've thought about doing it with Apex, right? So we've thought about rolling out
yeah,
some kind of revenue leader CEO community built around, winning more revenue and the core tenets of what we do at Apex and what we believe in. And I could see that being a cool place to roll our clients in that are paying for other services and get to know
100%.
them. So,
Always.
all right, last thing I've got for you here. Dude, I've thrown so much at you that is stuff that you've not talked about for like a long time, and you've had really good answers for it. So
Good.
kudos to
Well,
you.
that's what happens when you have
Outside of the really like
unconscious competence,
your
as we have
frou-frou
always
stuff's
talked
been a
about.
little frou-frou-y.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
The
It's my little
this
iced coffee.
So different from like a standard referral, right? Where you
Huh?
would just try to over deliver and delight a prospect. There's this
Yes.
idea that you rolled out a year and a half ago called sphere of influence referrals, right? So or
Yeah.
mapping, whatever. I forget what term
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
used after that. But like building a target account list based on this sphere of influence idea. What is sphere of influence? How would you execute on something like that?
Yeah. So sphere of influence is not a new terminology. It might be a Sandler term. It's been around for God
Well,
knows
it's new to
before.
me.
Yeah. There's a COI, and then so COI is center of influence, and then sphere of influence is the global. Same shit. But the practice is pretty simple, right? So LinkedIn Sales Navigator, bless its heart, has gotten actually better since Microsoft's acquisition, which rarely happens when a company acquires a technology. But the sphere of influence play is pretty great. So let's just say hypothetically, I've got people I have good relationships in the marketplace. Let's say it's JJ Russell, and um, on LinkedIn, I can go to search criteria and filter. I can do if I know that my typical buyer is a CRO at a $300 million company. I could filter all the industries and demographics and not psychographics as much, but the demographics through what LinkedIn has to offer. And then I can add one extra layer of filter, which is first degree connections to JJ Russell. And so I can go into that. I can create a list in Sales Navigator that is just called JJ Russell CRO 300 mil sphere, right? And what I'll do is I'll go through that list, and it's probably a small list, right? 1, 2, 3, 14, small list. And I'm going to pull all those people into this list. And I'm going to think about how is it that I can best get this list in front of JJ without it being creepy or, invasion. If you develop a relationship, this is not hard to do. This is part of all the other things. You do all the other things, this is easy to do. But it's going to produce 14 prospects that you can go to JJ and say, hey, man, hope it's okay. I was just doing some research on the network. I know we have a trust relationship. We've had results X, Y, and Z. Again, goes back to like communicating your value. If you continue to communicate your value, this is easy. We did this, and this. You know that I work with CROs at $300 million companies. We do X, Y, and Z. I don't know if you know all these people or not. LinkedIn's kind of weird that way, but I found 14 people that you're directly first degree connections with that map to that. Here's those 14 people. Is there anyone on this list that you would feel comfortable making an intro to? It doesn't have to be for me to sell them. I just want to get to know them. And if you feel like there's a good opportunity to work with them, then you can tee that up too. Is there anyone here that you would be comfortable doing that with? And then if they know them, then getting the inevitable yes is pretty sure.
Yeah, that's great. My guess would be everybody listening to this, unless they've done that recently, there's a really low lift to get to some
Super low
actual
lift, man.
results, right? So the easy sales that you are skipping over, forget everything we just talked about for 40 minutes.
Yep.
Go to your sales nav, Build a list. 10 people. Get in front of somebody that you
The
already know.
lowest lift is going through your company. Who in my
Yeah.
company currently, I have, we have 100 and something employees at this point. Not all US based. So let's just take my US based group and I go relationship by relationship and I develop a list of people that JJ knows, Tim knows, Corey knows, Matt knows, Ryan, Justin, whatever it might be. And I go to my team and tell them, like, yo, you're connected to these folks. Do you know them? Like, can we get something on the hump there? Like, it could be your deal, but I'm trying to help the company here. If they don't sell, then that's even better. Like, if you got a CFO in the company, you got a COO, like, people know people. It's interesting. If you're not in sales, people don't oftentimes think about their network, right? They don't think in terms of sales. So your CFO, COO, whatever, might have like 4, 5, 6 prospects that they've been connected to at other places they've worked that they've just not even thought about.
Yeah.
And like, yo, can you make an intro here, work it back? I'll kick you back money. Like, I'll give you my commission on this if I can just take the account. And that shit works like I don't know what
butter.
A cake
like
walk.
Butter.
It works like butter. Yeah, butter works great in certain contexts.
Oh, dude. Your connection just dropped here. Well, I'm going to sign us off whether Joey's back or not. I think he just jumped back. Joey, thank you for all your wisdom and your isms and all the things. Thank you at home for listening, your time and attention. They are the most valuable thing that you could give us. We do not take that lightly. We want to make the most of it and bring as much value as we possibly can. Check us out. As you heard in the ad, there's some cool stuff going on over at apexrevenue.com. Some cool resources that you can get access to that are going to add a lot of value to you there. We're going to bring value to you every week. So come back next week. Like always, rate, review, subscribe, leave us a comment. You might get a response from us. I actually guarantee you will. And that can steer some of the content for this show. So if there's things you want to hear about, know about, have us talk about, let's get those in the comments and we can bring more value to you that way. So as always, signing out, JJ for Joey, who disappeared randomly at the end of this recording. We appreciate y'all. Till next week. Cheers.
Peace.
Pull up and do the clip. Pull up and do the clip. Pull up and do the clip. My shooters pull up and do the clip.